The Galactic Council's laughter still rang in Derek Campbell's ears as he stormed out of the council chambers, his fists clenched at his sides. The arrogant alien bureaucrats had dismissed humanity's case for membership with a wave of their tentacles, deeming Earth too primitive and volatile to join their exclusive little club. But they had no idea what they just unleashed. Back on Earth, President Xavier Maximilian paced the underground briefing room, his face grim as he addressed the assembled military and intelligence leaders. "The Council thinks they can keep us on the sidelines forever," he growled, "but we have an ace up our sleeve. Centuries ago, we sent out a secret colony fleet, equipped with the most advanced technology we could muster. They vanished into uncharted space, and we let the galaxy believe they were lost. In truth, we've been tracking them, upgrading them, preparing them for this very moment." He turned to the holographic star map floating in the center of the room. "It's time to bring our lost fleet home, and when they arrive on the Council's doorstep, bristling with enough firepower to take on an armada, we'll see who's primitive and volatile." As the ancient colony ships powered up their engines and set course for the heart of Council space, Derek Campbell took his place on the bridge of the flagship, a cold smile on his lips. The Galactic Council wanted to play hardball. They were about to learn what happens when you back humanity into a corner. Earth was done playing nice. It was time to take their rightful place among the stars, by force if necessary. The galaxy trembled as news of the human fleet's return spread like wildfire. On 100 worlds, Council diplomats scrambled to shore up alliances and prepare for the coming storm. And in the shadows, the cunning Iridian diplomat Regor schemed and plotted, determined to use the chaos to his own advantage. The future of the galaxy hung in the balance, and one thing was certain. When the dust settled, nothing would ever be the same again. As the Indomitable and its escort ships emerged from jump space at the edge of Council territory, Admiral Zara Raines stood on the bridge, her piercing stare fixed on the monitor. The secret message from Derek Campbell deeply affected on her mind, the authorization to take whatever actions necessary of both a burden and an opportunity. "Admiral, long-range sensors have detected a large formation of ships on an intercept course," reported Lieutenant Commander Mikhail Petrov, the Indomitable's sensor officer. "Iridian warships by the looks of them." Raines nodded, her teeth clenched. "So, the Council wants to play gatekeeper. Let's see how committed they are. Helm, take us in, flank speed. Weapons, stand by on forward batteries." As the human fleet surged forward, the Iridian ships arranged themselves into a blockade formation, their sleek, predatory outlines dripping with armaments. On the bridge of the Iridian flagship, Admiral Salor watched the approaching human vessels with a mix of contempt and anticipation. "Prepare to engage," Zalor ordered, his voice cold and clipped. "Let's teach these upstarts the folly of challenging the Council." The two fleets closed rapidly, the tension between them palpable even across the vast distances of space. Raines, her mind racing through strategies and contingencies, ordered a series of probing attacks and feints, testing the Iridians' defenses and response times. As the human ships darted and weaved, the Iridians responded with blistering volleys of energy weapons and missile barrages. The void lit up with the fury of their exchange. Amid the chaos, a small group of Council infiltrators, led by the notorious Zorian operative Krelok, managed to slip aboard the Indomitable, their advanced stealth technology allowing them to evade detection. Moving swiftly through the ship's corridors, Krelok and his team made their way towards the main computer core, intent on sabotaging the vessel from within. But as they approached their target, the ship's AI, Orion, detected the unauthorized access and alerted Raines and her security chief, Commander Thaddeus Grayson. "Intruder alert, Deck 7, Section Alpha Niner," Orion reported, his synthetic voice urgent. "Security teams, respond immediately." Grayson, a veteran soldier with a keen tactical mind, immediately mobilized his forces, sealing off the affected sections and coordinating a sweep of the ship. As he closed in on the intruder's location, Krelok made his move, attempting to hack into the Indomitable's weapons systems and turn them against the other human ships. In the dimly lit armory, Grayson confronted Krelok, the two warriors engaging in a brutal hand-to-hand battle, amidst the racks of weapons and ammunition. Grayson, his skills honed by years of training in combat, finally gained the upper hand, disarming Kraylock and subduing him and his team with the help of his security personnel. On the bridge, Rains watched the unfolding situation with growing concern. The Council's willingness to resort to sabotage and subterfuge was a clear sign that the stakes were even higher than she had anticipated. With a heavy heart, she gave the order to split the fleet, sending one group to engage the Iridians directly while the other, led by Campbell aboard the Starfire, jumped to the coordinates of the long-lost human colony world, Ethon Prime. As the battle raged on the border, Campbell and his team, including the brilliant xenoarchaeologist Dr. Liam Sorensen, navigated the treacherous ruins of the once thriving settlement. Strange alien creatures stalked the overgrown streets and buildings, the very environment seeming to resist their presence. But Sorensen, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a keen intellect, pressed on, deciphering the cryptic clues left behind by their ancestors. And as the pieces fell into place, the true nature of their mission became clear. Hidden somewhere within the ruins lay the key to an ancient and powerful technology, one that could shift the balance of power in the galaxy. Back on the front lines, Rains and her fleet fought with steadfast perseverance, their advanced ships and weapons holding the line against the Council's onslaught. But as the battle wore on and the casualties mounted, it became clear that they could not hold out forever. It was then that the urgent message from Campbell and Sorensen arrived, revealing the existence of the Nexus Core, a source of immense power that could change everything. As the Council forces regrouped for another assault, Rains faced a momentous decision: press the advantage and secure the core for Earth, or use it as a bargaining chip to force the Council to the negotiating table. The fate of humanity and the future of the galaxy hung in the balance as Rains weighed her options, the weight of command heavy on her shoulders. The choice she made in this crucial moment would echo through the ages, shaping the course of history for generations to come. Admiral Zara Rains stood motionless on the bridge of the Indomitable, her eyes fixed on the holographic display of the battle raging around them. The human fleet's ships darted and weaved through the void, exchanging fire with the Iridian forces. Explosions lit up the darkness of space, each one representing lives lost and dreams shattered. "Admiral," Lieutenant Commander Petrov's voice cut through her thoughts. "Incoming transmission from the Starfire. It's Campbell." Rains nodded, her face a mask of concentration. "Put him through." Derek Campbell's holographic image materialized before her, his expression a mix of excitement and urgency. "Admiral, we found it, the Nexus Core. It's beyond anything we could have imagined." As Campbell relayed the details of their discovery on Ethon Prime, Rains felt the weight of command pressing down on her shoulders. The Nexus Core, a source of immense power and knowledge left behind by an ancient civilization. It could turn the tide of the battle in an instant, give humanity the firepower to crush the Council's forces and claim their place among the stars. But at what cost? Rains closed her eyes, memories of Earth's blood-soaked history flashing through her mind. How many times had humanity's reach for power led to destruction and ruin? "No," she said quietly, then louder. "No, we won't use it as a weapon." Campbell's hologram flickered, his brow furrowed in confusion. "Admiral?" "We have an opportunity here, Derek," Rains explained, her voice steady. "A chance to break the cycle of violence and prove that humanity is ready for a seat at the galactic table. We'll use the Nexus Core as leverage in negotiations, not as a means of destruction." She turned to her communications officer. "Open a channel to the Council leadership. It's time to talk." The next hours were a whirlwind of tense communications and delicate maneuvering. As Rains revealed the existence of the Nexus Core and offered to share its power in exchange for a truce and recognition of humanity's rights, the battlefield fell into an uneasy calm. On Ethon Prime, Campbell and Dr. Sorensen worked tirelessly to unlock the Core's secrets. Each new discovery sent waves of excitement through the research team. Advanced propulsion systems, terraforming techniques, and a network of hidden jump gates that could revolutionize travel across the galaxy. The knowledge contained within the core was beyond price. As Campbell transmitted their findings back to the Indomitable, The political landscape shifted once again. A message arrived from an unexpected source. Zoran Krell, an Altarian diplomat representing a faction of council species that had broken ranks with the hardliners. Admiral Rains, Krell's reptilian features filled the view screen, his voice a sibilant whisper. I believe we have much to discuss. Perhaps it is time for those of us who value progress over outdated prejudices to find common ground. Rains studied the alien's face, weighing her options. After a moment, she nodded. Agreed, I propose a ceasefire and neutral meeting ground for negotiations. As the human fleet and their newfound allies prepared for the diplomatic summit, tension hung heavy in the air. The future of humanity, and perhaps the entire galaxy, balanced on a knife's edge. Campbell stood at the head of the human delegation, his heart made as they approached the meeting site. The sleek shuttles of the council moderates were already touching down, disgorging a colorful array of alien diplomats. As the two groups converged, Campbell locked eyes with Zoran Krell. The Altarian diplomat inclined his head in a gesture of respect. Welcome, humans, Krell said, his multifaceted eyes glinting. Let us hope that today marks the beginning of a new era of cooperation and understanding between our peoples. Campbell opened his mouth to reply, but before he could speak, the sky lit up with the searing light of weapons fire. A chorus of alarms filled the air as a fleet of warships dropped out of jump space above them. Iridian battlecruisers, someone shouted. They're targeting the conference site. As chaos erupted around them, Campbell and Krell exchanged a look of grim understanding. The hardliners had made their move, and the future of the stars now hung in the balance. Balance of the entire galaxy. Campbell grabbed Krell's arm, pulling him down as energy blasts seared the air above their heads. We need cover, he shouted over the cacophony of explosions and screams. They scrambled behind a fallen pillar, joined by Dr. Sorensen and a handful of human and alien diplomats. Dust and debris rained down as the Iridian battlecruisers continued their bombardment. This way, Krell hissed, gesturing towards a partially collapsed archway. The Citadel has ancient defenses. If we can reach the inner sanctum, we might survive this attack. As they ran, weaving through the chaos, Campbell's comm unit crackled to life. Admiral Rains's voice cut through the static. Campbell, what's your status? Under heavy fire, he panted, ducking as another explosion rocked the ground. The hardliners have gone rogue. We're heading for cover inside the Citadel. Understood. We're engaging the Iridian fleet now. Hold out as long as you can. The small group pushed deeper into the Citadel's labyrinthine corridors. Dr. Sorensen's eyes widened as they passed intricate carvings and pulsing crystals embedded in the walls. Fascinating, he muttered. The Korlami were clearly far more advanced than we realized. A thunderous boom echoed through the halls, followed by the sound of shattering stone. Krell's multifaceted eyes narrowed. That was no Iridian weapon, he said grimly. Moments later, they rounded a corner to find themselves face to face with a group of heavily armed humans. Their leader, a tall man with a jagged scar across his left cheek, leveled a pulse rifle at Campbell's chest. Marcus Kane, Campbell growled, recognizing the infamous Dawnbreaker leader. What the hell are you doing here? Kaney's lips curled into a sneer. Ensuring humanity's rightful place in the stars, Campbell. Something you're too weak to do yourself. Before anyone could react, another explosion rocked the Citadel. The floor beneath their feet cracked and gave way, sending both groups tumbling into darkness. Campbell landed hard, the breath knocked from his lungs. As he struggled to his feet, he found himself in a vast, dimly lit chamber. Strange, pulsing lights danced across the walls, illuminating towering structures of crystal and metal. The World Seed Chamber, Krell whispered, awe and fear mingling in his voice. We cannot let it fall into the wrong hands. A harsh laugh echoed through the cavernous space. Gortok, the Iridian commander, emerged from the shadows, flanked by his elite guard. Too late, Altarian, he snarled. The power of the Korlami will belong to the Council. The true Council, not your band of weaklings and these human upstarts. As tensions reached a boiling point, the air itself seemed to vibrate. A blinding light erupted from the center of the chamber, revealing a pulsing, crystalline object, the World Seed. In that moment of distraction, Kaney and his Dawnbreakers made their move. They surged forward, engaging Gortak's forces in close-quarters combat. Energy weapons flared, and the clash of metal on metal filled the air. Campbell found himself fighting alongside Krell, their temporary alliance forged in the heat of battle. As they fought their way towards the World Seed, he saw Dr. Sorensen examining the ancient device, his fingers flying over its intricate surface. "No!" Gortak roared, seeing their intent. He raised his weapon, but it was too late. The World Seed pulsed once, twice, and then unleashed a blinding shockwave of energy. Campbell felt a strange tingling sensation wash over him. And then, silence. Every piece of advanced technology in the chamber went dark. Weapons fizzled out, comm units died, and even the Citadel's ancient defenses fell silent. As the dust settled, Campbell looked up to see Kaney holding the now dormant World Seed, a triumphant gleam in his eyes. "This changes everything," the Dawnbreaker leader said softly. Before anyone could stop him, Kaney and his remaining forces retreated, disappearing into the maze-like corridors of the Citadel. Campbell turned to Krell, seeing his own shock and uncertainty mirrored in the Altarian's alien features. The galaxy had changed in an instant, and the real battle was only just beginning. The dust settled in the cavernous chamber, revealing a scene of chaos and destruction. Campbell blinked, his ears ringing from the World Seed's shockwave. Around him, friend and foe alike struggled to their feet, weapons rendered useless by the energy pulse. "This changes everything," Kaney's words echoed in the sudden silence. Before anyone could react, the Dawnbreaker leader and his remaining forces melted into the shadows of the Citadel's maze-like corridors, the dormant World Seed clutched tightly in his grasp. Campbell turned to Krell, the Altarian diplomat's multifaceted eyes reflecting the same mixture of shock and uncertainty he felt. "We need to regroup," Campbell said, his voice hoarse. "Contact Admiral Rains and—" A distant rumble cut him off, followed by the ominous sound of crumbling stone. The Citadel, weakened by the battle and the World Seed's energy burst, was coming apart around them. "Move!" Campbell shouted, grabbing Krell's arm and pulling him towards the nearest exit. The motley group of humans and aliens scrambled through the collapsing corridors, dodging falling debris and leaping over widening chasms in the floor. As they emerged into the harsh light of Ethan Prime's twin suns, Campbell's comms unit crackled to life. Admiral Raines's voice came through, terse and filled with static. "Campbell, status report." He quickly relayed the situation, the World Seed's activation, Kaney's escape, and the technology-disabling shockwave. There was a long pause before Raines responded. "Return to the Indomitable immediately. We need to reassess our position and open channels with the Council leadership." In the days that followed, an uneasy calm settled over the battlefield. The Council hardliners, their fleet crippled by the World Seed's effects, grudgingly agreed to a ceasefire. Both sides retreated to lick their wounds and contemplate the new reality thrust upon them. Aboard the Indomitable, Campbell stood before a holographic display, studying the latest intelligence reports. Kaney and his Dawnbreakers had vanished to the edges of known space, taking the World Seed with them. The artifact's terrifying potential hung over the galaxy like a sword of Damocles. "We've received a transmission," Lieutenant Commander Petrov announced, his face grave. "The Council moderates are requesting a summit to restart negotiations. They've proposed a neutral space station as the meeting ground." Admiral Raines nodded, her eyes never leaving the star chart before her. "Very well. Prepare a delegation. Campbell, you'll lead our diplomatic team." As Campbell boarded the shuttle bound for the summit, a gnawing unease settled in his stomach. The stakes had never been higher, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. The neutral station loomed before them, a gleaming construct of metal and crystalline viewports. As Campbell's team docked and made their way to the conference room, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The negotiations had barely begun when chaos erupted. Alarms blared, and the station's security systems engaged. Campbell's blood ran cold as he recognized the face on the consoles, Dr. Sorensen, his friend and colleague, now revealed as a Dawnbreaker operative. "This station is under our control," Sorensen's voice rang out, filled with a fervor Campbell had never heard before. All alien forces will withdraw from human space immediately or face the consequences. Campbell's mind raced. How long had Sorensen been working for Caney? How much damage had he done? As armed Dawnbreakers swarmed into the conference room, taking the delegates hostage, Campbell knew the real battle for humanity's future was only beginning.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.